Hi class, this is an overview of English 112's a second essay. For your second essay, you're going to write an advocacy argumentative grade. First, this is a persuasive argumentative essay, so you want to have a specific tone. Also, you're going to be using classical or Rogerian format again, and depending on which one of those you choose, that will decide your tone as well. So what are you writing about? Well, consider a topic or stance and craft an argument showcasing your support for a specific cause or issue. You must advocate for a cause and for a change. Your thesis should clearly state what you are advocating and the change you wish to see as a result of your persuasive argumentative essay. So a key word here is showing your support. Okay, you're not focusing on the causes or effects that are negative for a situation or a cause. Instead, you're going to showcase a support. That's kind of depends on your wording as well. A tip, you should not tell me why a problem is a problem. Also, this is not a cause and effect paper, so you should persuade the reader to take action and do something specific to support or advocate for your cause. Okay, some ideas here. You're going to be writing a 5-page paper, so all the way to the bottom, okay, no more than 7. After that, most likely you're not being concise, so if you are finding that you are going way over 7, you'll probably need to narrow down your topic or possibly your research. Maybe you go back to organizing the essay better. The works cited page does not count as the part of the 5 pages. That's pretty standard. So use MLA spacing, formatting, citations. Check out your old essay that I already graded and just see if you missed any points for MLA. That should be sort of an easy fix. By the second paper, I don't expect too many MLA issues. That should be an easy 10 points. Grammar point of view, wording, concision, and clarity will be graded more strictly than the first essay. So of course grammar, it matters if I can understand your points. Point of view is one of those things that, again, by the second essay I do expect to be fixed. You should be in third person point of view, which means there should be no personal anecdotes. You should not be telling your opinion directly. You should be stating a fact and then using research to back it, not an interview with your cousin or something that you went through, even if it is a legitimate, relevant experience. This is a research paper as well as an argumentative paper, okay? So you want to stay very formal. You don't want to use slang or, words that maybe aren't as definitive. So use present tense when you're discussing research for the most part. So the majority of your paper should be in present tense. Of course, if the author is talking about something in the past tense, then you might revert to past tense. But we always say, the majority of the paper should be in present. And then try to show some understanding of ethos, logos, pathos. You can actually use those words. That's okay. And don't, use a whole paragraph to show this understanding. But you can just kind of stick it in an analysis of a quote, for instance, in a sentence in one of your body paragraphs. The thesis is very important. And it, again, should be placed at the end of the introduction. It could be multiple sentences. 2 is pretty standard, but you don't want a paragraph of your thesis, of course. But basically, I should be able to read the thesis and know what the entire essay is about without reading anything else. So check that out for yourself. When you're done with the essay, go back, read your thesis, and see if you've covered everything. It should be underlined for the draft and for the final essay. And, of course, you'll be following classical Rogerian formats. So, again, make sure that you are clearly advocating something, that you're clearly showing me what you want to change, that it's persuasive, and, it should be free from all errors. The thesis, again, is very important. I have provided 2 examples on your prompt and on this video to help you come up with a good thesis statement. I'm going to let you read them on your own, but you'll notice that in this example, the poor thesis statement just focuses on the problem. First of all, it doesn't clearly advocate for any change. The second, the better thesis, advocates, supports some sort of change, which you'll find in the next example as well. Again, this example shows a poor thesis that doesn't really satisfy the assignment because it's not advocating for change. Global warming is detrimental to the planet's survival. If people continue to ignore the negative effects of global warming, future generations will have a serious problem to fix. So this thesis, not only is it pretty vague in general, it's just focusing on the problem, which is not supporting something. So if I asked the student, what are you supporting? It's really sort of unclear. And I guess you could say you're supporting the change of global warming or the education, but that's not what this thesis is saying. Again, the reader should not have to connect these dots. You should do it for them. So the better thesis statement says what exactly is expected to change because of this persuasive essay. So global warming is detrimental to the planet's survival. Educating society of the potential harm of global warming and limiting industrial activity, agricultural activity, and deforestation should be the necessary first steps to preserving the environment for future generations. So you see that there is quite a difference there. There's some advocation, there's some support for some change. Okay, so for your sources, so your research, you must have a minimum of 4 sources. You can have more if you need to. Truthfully, if you have really good journal peer-reviewed articles, then 4 probably is going to be enough for you. But if your articles aren't as long, or maybe you're using more newspapers, which you do have to be careful with because sometimes they're opinion-based, then you probably were going to need more sources than the 4. The sources must come from WakeTech databases. Okay, you are not Googling sources. The best sources are peer-reviewed and come from journals. Avoid blogs and magazines and those sort of things because they're not scholarly. They're not checked, so you don't really know what you're getting. Databases are much better than most search engines, but they still have some sources in there that aren't very credible. So be careful. When you write your databases in your essay or in your works cited page, they're always italicized. So you're going to use these sources to reinforce your position, not the other way around. And then I have do not start or end paragraphs with quotations, and always introduce your quotes. And sometimes your authors. You should always assume control by using your evidence to support your claims, not writing claims to support your evidence. Your words should always outweigh the quotes. So I've had some people write, paragraphs that are 80% quotes. Of course, that's not very good. So don't do that. Don't just use quotes to pad your paper. Make sure that you use attribution to effectively integrate quotes, which means basically, you're using punctuation properly. You are using that parenthetical citation properly. At the end, you have the author's last name and possibly a page number. Now remember, a lot of sources on the databases have page numbers. You have to look for them. Some students miss that, so you can check the PDF. They have the page numbers, but you can also look at the abstract details that list the page numbers for you. And then, I suggest starting with NC Live, which is not a database, it's a database search engine, but it's the easiest and it'll cover the most ground for you. So reminders, a little repetitive here, but this is just things that I see a lot that I have to repeat a lot. So it's an argumentative essay, so you'll use Rogerian or classical, and be persuasive, okay? Advocate, support a cause, and show what you want to change as a result. The body paragraph should explain why and how this change should occur. So start with a topic sentence. Give evidence. If you don't know what meal is, it means M is for main topic, which is the topic sentence. E is evidence. A is analysis. You can have another E and A, as many E and A's as you want, and then link at the end, which means basically wrap the paragraph up, or you can link it to the next paragraph. The next, remove all first and second point of view. This can become very distracting if you do it multiple times. There is the English 111 review document that I mentioned before on Blackboard. That's always good to kind of just check out right before you're about to, submit or revise a paper. And, if you're not feeling very confident or you have a 70 or lower in the class, I do suggest using the ILC, the Real or the Virtual Real Center, depending on the class. So you might be stumped, and because it is sort of an open topic of choice, you pretty much can write about most things. So how do I choose a topic? Well, first of all, I think the best way to choose a topic is check out what everybody's talking about as far as the news or the newspaper. That might be a really good indication of what to write about. Now, of course, you need to check the databases to make sure that there's enough evidence for you to write about this topic. Because if you pick something very fresh, they might not have a lot on the database yet. But that's something that you can do. You can range from various contemporary debates, but don't just pick an argument that you already know, or has it been excessively debated, or you wrote about in high school. There's a list of high school topics that pretty much everybody writes about. Don't choose one of those, okay? I do have a list that I will not approve, and it includes anything about abortion, pro-life or pro-choice, gun control, global warming, or legalizing drugs, regardless of the reason or current legislation. The reason I don't accept these topics is because they're tired. We've already made up our minds about them. These topics have been debated for a long time. It's best to find something more fresh with information and perspectives to bring up other important issues in the class. If you're passionate about something, that's great. Choose it, but just be careful, because sometimes it's hard to see the other side when you're very passionate about a subject. So, take some time, pick a topic, because you're going to spend a lot of time with it. When you come up with one, check the databases, though, before you write your proposal. That's important, because you don't want to have a topic approved and then go, oh no, I don't have any research to work with. Also, do not relate the second essay to your first essay at all. So if you wrote about anything pertaining to the internet or technology, write about something different, okay? That's just an example. But keep it fresh. Of course, if you wrote a paper for English 111 or you're taking this class again, don't write anything close to that, because you don't want to, have self-plagiarism either, okay? If you're not sure about that, you can always email me before you get very far into the essay. So on the day that it's due, or before, you can put in before if you want to, you can upload your final essay into Save Assign before the due date. A Save Assign is going to scan your essay for plagiarism, and it will come up with a percentage. If you have a percentage, guys, don't freak out right away. If it's like 20, 30%, it might just be your quotes. Okay, so you can click on the link and it'll show you. If everything's attributed or cited properly, you have nothing to worry about, okay? So if there's a percentage, that's okay. No one should really have 0%. If it's 50 or more, then that's kind of a lot of quotes. That you might want to check out. But you can see the syllabus for the severe consequences of plagiarism. Don't do it. Self-plagiarism is a thing too. I don't want to email you that message and you don't want to get it. So please be careful. Again, I can help you with that until the final essay is submitted. Once it's submitted, I can't really do anything about it. But if you have questions about plagiarism, email me or use the virtual Real Center or the Real Center. Make sure that your paper has been properly uploaded. I've had a few people, submit the wrong format, maybe not Word, submit it in something like Pages, or submit the wrong document, maybe a rough draft. If I've already graded it, that's not good. So make sure you check it, double check it. Also, check out the late policy. Hopefully nobody will be turning their paper in late, but if an emergency occurs, that's why I have a late policy for the essays. You'll lose 10 points for every calendar day, not school day, that it's late, and after the third day, it's generally a 0. So be careful with that. Don't do it unless you actually, really, really have an emergency.